Ivory Jones here, coming back at you. Ryan Sullivan of the Ivory Connection. So, got my little buff Orpington out here. We're going to talk to you today about how to build yourself a snake business. How I built my snake business from a little old nothing-ass $5,000 startup to, I don't know, man, I probably got $500,000 worth of snakes now. I have a $100,000 season every year. We produced over 500 animals last season. We're doing world first productions every year now. I've got new genes and new combos and shit y'all ain't ever even fucking heard of over here now. And we built this all out of nothing, man. It's really what it boils down to. When I got into all of this, man, I was a vet tech. A lot of people done forgot I was a vet tech, man, but I was a vet tech for like 12 fucking years, man. I walked dogs and cleaned dog shit and gave injections to stuff, and it's fine, they can be in the video, it don't matter. Fucking, that's what I did, man. I did blood work, I was a surgical tech. If there's something you can do in the vet tech world, I did it basically at one point in time. And I worked my way up from kennel tech all the way to the top of that food chain. But I wound up at a certain point where it was like there was no place else to go. You know, I was making $18.50 an hour. I'd make double that if I was doing holidays, and I volunteered every single holiday for like 10 years, man. I didn't have a Christmas with my family. I worked as a vet tech at the E-Clinic. You know, I didn't have Thanksgiving dinner with the family. I volunteered hours fucking up at the emergency clinics, and I made that good money, man, and I stashed a lot of that, and that's what I built most of my collection with, man, was that good double overtime and triple overtime vet tech money, man. I bought a lot of snakes with that stuff. I wound up at one point, I was working for, I hate to even give this man a shout out because he's a fucking prick, but I wound up working for a Dr. Hickman up at Animal Medical Center McKinney, and Dr. Hickman did have a huge reptile collection. Retics, berms, fucking, you just about name it. He had a bunch of bloods and boas and balls, and he just had it all going on up there. And we bred a lot of colubrids in the back that we wholesold to a major dealer who put them in a few pet stores that were local. We did a whole bunch of stuff out there. We bred some ball pythons too. We bred some of the first ever reticulated pythons, lavender albinos. Leave her alone. Hey. That wherever, sorry, got dogs, chickens, crazy stuff going on here. Bred some of the first lavender albinos that were ever produced outside of Bob Clark's facility. Man, we just had all sorts of crazy stuff going on out there, man. But the biggest thing that we had going on was that, like, we didn't make any money out of any of this reptile stuff. And the boss man was always just upset about it. He was always like, just this hole I just dump all this money into, and it never pays back at the end, and my market's always crashing out, and every time I buy into a project, it crashes before I get to cash it out. So basically for like 5 years, I watched this guy do the whole thing wrong. I watched him try to keep up with the Joneses and chase that next new thing, and he just kept fucking up, and he kept buying into shit projects, and he never would focus on any one thing. He was just always chasing that next thing, and he got what comes with that turf. You know, he never really was successful. And so I took a lot of my lessons from there that I learned, and I kept building my collection, and I got things going, and I had my first little successful season breeding berms, thanks to Tom Regan. Tom Regan, a great guy, someone that I'd known a long time that brought me into this berm scene. No, leave me alone. Come on now. Someone that brought me into this berm scene, taught me a lot, helped me through my first season. Really learned a lot from just watching him over the years and his seasons and his stuff that he had going on. I took a lot of info that I took from him and Sam Bearden and a lot of those other old berm junkie guys, and I really got my stuff going strong. I had my first good retic season. My second year breeding retics, I was working for the DFW Reptarium at the time. Also, fucking prick, I hate to give him a shout out, but you know, I helped him start that company and get it all off the ground and rolling, and we started having falling outs over personal differences about how we thought the business should be run. So while I had initially planned on working another 4 or 5 years still, I kind of was forced into this predicament where I wasn't going to go back to working as a tech cleaning dog shit again. I wasn't going to go back to really working for anybody else again. I was ready to set out on my own, even though it was a huge risk at the time, and I really didn't even have the collection the size to produce the income that I needed to get by on all year. but I figured it out, man. I had 4 or 5 good clutches that first season. I marketed myself well. I made decent money. I had some little side jobs. My business partner, Andy Hine, got involved with a lot of stuff, started buying some animals to kind of help contribute as well. Those didn't breed that first year, but they did again finally the next season after that. They kind of helped boost my numbers up. I was running a register for him at his company, Southern Reptiles, for a little bit as well at various shows to just kind of anything to get by. Selling leaf litter. You know, I've done a lot of things all the way down to, you know, like y'all know now, I'm famous for my hot sauces. If there's a way to make a nickel, I will find it. You know what I mean? And, you know, that's what I had to do for a couple years. And I went through hard times, man. I lived in, you know, an RV camper trailer and rented a fucking spot for my animals. And I got down to where I had nothing at one point. But it seemed like every year the company doubled. Every year production doubled. Every year the income off the animals doubled. The genetics got better. Everything just got better every single year. So it was like I couldn't shut down. No matter how crappy my personal life was or my financial standings got to be, I had to keep this thing going. So I started with about $5,000 buying snakes and getting this all rolling. On my second or third season, after dumping everything that I had into it, I took a little loan out for about 18 grand and I really invested hard. I paid all of that back after a couple seasons. I'm free and clear of pretty much everything these days. I had a 6-figure year last year, and I'm doing what I love, and I'm never fucking going back to work for anybody else ever again. And my only real message here is that, like, you could do this too. And it don't have to be snakes. It don't have to be fucking whatever the fuck it is I'm doing. You know, I'm into everything now. I got music going on and the YouTube going on and the hot sauce sales and t-shirts. And I've marketed myself into a brand name at this point. You could do that with anything, though. You could be selling shoes. You could be selling fucking anything it is that you're passionate about. If you're a fucking a shoe whore and all you're into is fucking shoes, go out there and fucking pimp the fuck out some fucking shoes and sell them shits and market yourself and brand them shits and make it yours. Because you can literally do it with anything. Video gaming, whatever your passion is, you could brand that shit as yours and run with it and make a fucking dream out of it. I did, and I'm never fucking going back. Do something. Get some. We live to play another day. Ivory Jones, the Ivory Connection. Be good.